Cameron watches as the motel parking lot disappears into the night. They had left most of their stuff behind in the room, only bringing along what they absolutely needed. Cameron had wanted to take it a bit slower, to think things over before running away like this. But weirdly enough, it was Devon that was ushering him out as quickly as he could. Well, no, it made sense. What was truly weird was how Cameron had felt, and how he still feels now. Despite what had just happened, despite the absolute horror of it all, there's a part of Cameron that still wants to stay. Cameron has to assume that this is nothing like what Dev had seen in his previous investigations, that maybe he also felt that overwhelming feeling of wrongness. But it also feels wrong just to leave after hearing what he had heard. He'd expected Dev to want to stay after Cameron told him about Lupita. And if Dev had asked him to stay, Cameron would have done so. If only to search for better closure after hearing her scream. Despite Dev's calm appearance, Cameron knows that his mind must be in turmoil right now. Now, with the night ending like this, he thinks that maybe he shouldn't have told Dev what he heard. Yeah, he promised to be honest about it, but the hallucination, no. The vision, felt like a lie somehow. A trick. It felt real. It happened. But it also felt like something nefarious was behind it all. He felt it when the wolf focused on him, as if that unseen something had taken the wheel and started steering things where it wanted them to go. Even if he has no idea what that something could be, Cameron hopes that's the case. The alternative is that the afterlife really is only suffering. And that would mean his mother is in the same place. That everyone's going to that place. Cameron squirms in his seat, the feeling of a suffocating dread creeping up under his neck. Drowning forever. Cameron suddenly turns to look at his boyfriend, unable to deal with the awkward silence anymore. Devon? Devon tilts his head slightly in Cameron's direction, brows raised to show he's listening. Yeah, hun? He doesn't take his eyes off the road, either because it's nighttime, or more likely because of what they just dealt with. The bear is being notably cautious. Still, there's a sense of urgency in his driving, like he's trying to get out of there as fast as he can. Cameron struggles to find the right words. Hey, let's talk when I get on the freeway, okay? I just gotta focus right now. Cameron can't wait until then. Are we coming back? Cameron sees Dev's brows rise again, this time in surprise. No, of course not. We're done. I'm an idiot for doing this in the first place. And again, I'm sorry. Cameron can't quash the feeling that he should be the one apologizing right now. But there's a theme park in Peyton called Southwest Adventures. I was thinking that we could go there at the end of our investigation. But we could do that tomorrow instead. Dev pauses, apparently waiting for a response, but Cameron can't think of one to give him. I think it would be fun. Cameron is almost certain that's the same word Devon used just before they left to describe how this investigation would feel. Fun. I think we need to come back. We can't just leave things like that. That was just so fucked. Cameron sees Dev grit his teeth, and the coyote feels himself recoil a bit, like he did on a daily basis with Dylan. Sorry, No, you're fine. I'm just having trouble seeing the fucking road. Let's just leave it until I can see where I'm going, okay, hun? The coyote steels himself. He shouldn't ever feel afraid of Devron. He doesn't need to. I think we should come back tomorrow. Keep this going like you planned. There's something more to this, and I want to help find out what it is. He says it firmly, in a way that he hopes shows Devon that he's not completely fragile, even if he did break down in a motel room. But Devon is quiet, and Cameron feels himself start to get a little frustrated that he's being ignored. But then the bear responds. No, I don't think so. I'll probably come back, but with another psychic. I'm not going to put you through that ever again. Despite knowing Devon means no offense by that, Cameron feels offended. Like Devon doesn't think he's good enough, or strong enough to do this. But I want to, especially if you're just going to come back. You think I'm just going to sit at home, knowing you're back out in this hellhole? Listen, Cameron, I've been to a lot of haunted places, but there's something different about this town that feels really off. Fucked, like you said. I don't want you anywhere near it. You said to pull you back if things go south, and they went south. Now it's Cameron who grits his teeth. But I want to. Do you still want to? I know you need to find answers, but after feeling what I felt, I need answers too. Dev's careful maneuvering along the broken road hits a pothole and the interior shakes. Devon winces. Babe, please, can we talk about this later? I just want to get us to Peyton safely right now. And just like that, Cameron's determination dries up. He hates himself for being such a coward. Things had always felt unequal in their relationship, but it was rare for Dev to just say it out loud. To tell the coyote what's good for him, even though Cameron told him what he wanted. It's nothing like it was with Dylan, but the feeling is similar. Cameron doesn't like that. Well, what if I don't want you to come back here either? Devon takes a deep breath, but manages to keep calm. Then we can talk about it. When we're safely back home. Cameron goes quiet again. They're halfway past the lake, the body of water looking like a giant dark pit, except where the moon glitters on its surface, and that's when Cameron sees something out of the corner of his eye. There's something on the road, between two craters of broken asphalt. Cameron stares for several seconds, not sure if he's seeing what he thinks he's seeing. He waits for Devon to say something, to wonder what the hell that is in front of them. But he says nothing. Almost like he doesn't see it. Yet, there it is. Right in front of them. And it's right where Devon is about to go, and the bear isn't stopping. Cameron manages to jerk himself out of his stunned daze. Oh my god, Devon, look! What? Dev finally looks at Cameron, his eyes off the road, and still the Jeep moves forward. Stop! Why isn't he stopping? The coyote does the first thing that comes to his mind. Time slows down. It's just like what happened back in high school, right before he got hit by a car while skateboarding. He has more time to react now than he did then, though, and he slides his arm under his seatbelt to get free and reaches across Devon's side. He grabs the wheel, and even though Devon is starting to brake, It's not fast enough. And they're at least 20 feet away from hitting it. The coyote doesn't even think, acting on pure instinct. Cameron turns the wheel to the right, hard. Devon can't comprehend what Cameron's doing before they hit something, and the jolt is far worse than any pothole he'd hit on the road. First, he had been thrown to the left, slamming into his window before he bounces back toward Cameron. Then the bear is thrown into his seatbelt. In the back of his mind, he's aware that Cameron is half out of his own seatbelt, having been thrown sideways over the center console. Driven by what feels like pure reflex, Devron throws his arm across a coyote in an attempt to hold him back. Cameron's muzzle meets the bear's thick arm before his forearm smacks into the screen of the head unit. A numbing, tingling feeling explodes across his entire arm. Oh, fuck! Dev brings his arm to his chest, cradling it as he winces. Are you alright? Cameron's breathless voice next to him is enough to reassure Dev that a coyote isn't seriously injured. The airbags hadn't even deployed, even though the impact had felt serious. Yeah, my funny bone. What about you? Let me see your face. Devon tries to grab Cameron's muzzle to have a closer look at him. It's hard to see with only the glow of the Jeep's headlights, now dimmed from the swirling dust kicked up by the accident. But Cameron pulls away, opening his door to get out. Cameron, what? The coyote yelps as he seems to lose his footing almost immediately and falls hard. Cam! Dev unbuckles his seatbelt and almost tries to climb out Cameron's side of the Jeep. Then, realizing what he's doing, opens his own door to get out, almost falling himself as his feet reach uneven ground. Dust coats his mouth as he looks up the road, and immediately he can still see Echo from here. He knew this was going to happen. That something was going to prevent them from getting out. He could feel it since he started driving. He just didn't expect Cameron to cause it. The Jeep is tilted forward, the front wheels wedged into a deep trench carved out by years of flooding along the edge of the road. Dev stumbles around the front of the Jeep, squinting against the headlights before looking down where Cameron had fallen, but he only sees blackness. Cameron? He starts to panic, seriously considering that the coyote could have fallen into a sinkhole, but then... Over here! Dev looks back toward the road, the dust finally clearing, and sees that Cameron is already there, standing in the middle of it, looking around confused, like he's lost or something. What the fuck are you doing? Dev stumbles back around the Jeep, just wanting to get the coyote back inside so he doesn't go running off somewhere. The bear already suspects that Cameron is having a mental breakdown, and if they don't get the hell out of here soon, Dev thinks he might just join him. I saw someone. Cameron, slow down. Just let me see your face. It felt like it almost broke my arm. No. I know I did. Cameron ignores Dev's paw that is reaching out toward him and starts walking up the road, looking back and forth. Cam. Ugh. The stress of what just happened, along with Cameron barely acknowledging his presence, is too much. He grabs Cameron's arm, forcing him to turn fully around and face him. What the hell are you doing? Cameron flinches and raises his arms up, crossing one wrist over the other, covering his face like he thinks Dev is going to... Cameron, what? But the coyote just lowers his arms, looking around again. I saw something. Someone. It was like a little kid sitting on the road. You didn't see them? Devon wants to ask why Cameron acted like he was going to get hit, but the coyote is in such clear distress that the bear isn't sure what to say. Then Cameron looks at the Jeep as if seeing what had happened for the first time. Shit! I didn't mean to crash your car. I swear I saw someone. And I wouldn't do that on purpose. Cameron's breath starts to become erratic, gasping for air. Honey, come here. I can't breathe. Dev wraps his arm around the coyote, even as he starts to try and pull away. Let go. I need to go. Listen, Cam. Breathe with me. Dev presses the side of Cameron's head to his chest and takes a deep breath. Remember? In and out. Slowly. Devon keeps his voice upbeat, his expression cheerful, the complete opposite of what he's actually feeling right now. But showing how distressed he is clearly isn't helping the situation. So this breathing exercise is also for his benefit. The last time they'd done this was at least a few years ago now. And just like last time, it seems to work. The coyote fighting his gasping for a minute before his breathing becomes more steady, albeit a little shaky. They breathe in unison for a few minutes, the bear stroking Cameron's head like he had only half an hour ago in the motel room. Was it really only 2 hours ago that he'd been giddy at the thought of a paranormal investigation with his psychic boyfriend? Finally, Cameron pulls away gently. I'm sorry. Hey, don't apologize. You said you thought you saw someone? I thought I did. I didn't mean to fuck up your car, though. Well, if you thought you saw someone, then I'm glad that you did that. Considering how slow we're going, I'd rather the car run into dirt than run over somebody. Now, just hold still for a second so I can check you out. Your face planted into my arm pretty hard back there. Dev gently turns Cameron toward the headlights of the still running car, lightly running his blunt claws through the fur. I thought it was an otter. I could see the tail and everything. One of Devon's claws grazes over a small clump under Cameron's fur on the bridge of a snout, and the coyote winces. Does that hurt? A little bit. I didn't even notice until just now. That's probably from my elbow. What about your arm? Are you sure it's alright? Cameron starts doing his own check of Devon's arm. Dude, my arm is fine. Ow! The bear yelps as Cameron prods right into a spot that is suddenly becoming very sore. Did that really hurt that much? Not really. It just surprised me. Really? Yep. See? Biting it without pain. Yeah, I believe you. Just be careful with it. Cameron sighs, looking back at the Jeep. I'm going crazy. The relief Devon had felt after seeing Cameron returning to his usual snarky self deflates at those words.
What? No, you're not. You're just... We're both on edge right now.
Well, it really did feel like I was losing my mind for a minute there. Thanks for helping me.
Of course. No, just gotta check out the damage.
Yeah. The back wheels aren't even touching the ground.
Well, I'll have a better look. Hang tight, babe.
Alright. Devon starts to analyze the status of his Jeep, and he can tell right away that they aren't going anywhere. Both front wheels are almost buried in the sandy trench below, and both of the back wheels are definitely off the ground, the undercarriage balanced on the road's edge. Still, Dev gets in and, after telling Cam to stand clear, very gently tries to back out. The bear winces at the scraping sounds from the metal undercarriage, realizing how desperate he is to get out of here considering how hopelessly stupid this attempt is. After realizing he's only spinning the wheels deeper into the dirt, he stops. The bear turns off the engine, sighing and pressing his head against the steering wheel. Sure, it sucked that his Jeep is probably all fucked up now, but that doesn't matter. More than anything, he just wants to be out of Echo. He thinks back on how strange it is that Cameron immediately tried to convince him that he didn't do it on purpose. Devon didn't need to be convinced because he hadn't even considered that was the case. But because of how he brought it up, Devon quickly shuts that down, deciding that now isn't the time for shitty thoughts like that. Finally, the bear gets out, fixing a smile on his face again so Cameron won't feel so bad.
Alright, so... Cameron?
Dev looks around and, to his dismay, spots a coyote a ways up the road toward Echo again, though he's standing off to the side right next to the lake. He's looking over the edge, down at the water.
Hey, Cameron, you alright?
The bear jogs up to the coyote, putting an arm around him.
You alright?
Cameron finally turns to look at the bear. Yeah.
Stay next to me, alright? I want you to be close after everything that's happened.
I was just trying to stay out of the way.
Are you looking for something?
Dev looks over the edge at the murky water below. Almost immediately after, the bear instinctively pulls back, taking Cameron with him. Yeah, just thought that because otters are good swimmers, then maybe... Cameron lets out a fake laugh. Ha, sorry. I'm crazy. Don't mind me.
Come on, don't do that.
Cameron goes quiet. Seeing just how unhappy Cameron is, the bear takes a deep breath, deciding to tell him.
Back in the early 2000s, an otter kid drowned in this lake. I wonder if maybe that's who you saw?
Really?
Yeah, along with a few dozen other people over the last 70 years, I have a list for the lake and other places we're gonna go.
So you're saying I saw that because I'm psychic? You don't seem very thrilled with that idea.
I'm not thrilled with any of this anymore.
It only reminds Dev that Cameron could see anything. Terrible things. And that could lead to more mental anguish for his boyfriend.
Anyway, we are stuck pretty badly.
What do we do?
Don't worry, we've got options. We'd want to get to the highway, but it's a bit of a walk. I think about 7 or 8 miles. That might be a bit too much with it being dark and on a half destroyed road. I think we should try to get a little bit of sleep, then start walking at dawn. We'll have light, and if we keep up a good pace, we'll get to the highway before it gets too hot and be able to flag down help.
Cameron is quiet.
So, what do you think?
Remember a while back when I asked what we'd do if there was an emergency? You said there was still cell service in parts of the town?
Did I?
Yeah, Dev. You know what I'm talking about. It makes way more sense to find cell service right next to us and call for help rather than walk 8 miles.
I don't think it makes much sense at all, Cameron.
We were looking for trouble, Dev. I think we'll be fine as long as I'm not trying to see shit.
But you just saw.
It's silent for a few excruciating seconds.
Oh, I just want to get the fuck out of here and get you home.
Cameron's ears twitch as Dev raises his voice, which seems to reverberate in silence. But the coyote just goes on standing there, arms crossed like they almost always are. Yeah, psychic or not, I am unstable. We both know that already.
No.
But I'm not walking miles through scorpion and rattlesnake infested desert when our solution is right there.
Babe, please. I have a bad feeling.
Sorry, who's the psychic here? Dev, I can do this. Trust me. We're outside where nothing's haunted, and we won't be looking for anything, so I'm going.
Cameron!
I prefer you come with me, though.
God damn it.
Devon hurries to catch up with his boyfriend, sliding his paw into Cameron's and gripping it tightly. Cameron has a look on his face like he's a bit pleased with himself, and Devon can't figure out why. It's like the coyote thinks he's winning some kind of game, and Devon has to grit his teeth so he doesn't start an argument all over again. Just an hour ago, Cameron was sobbing after seeing and hearing terrible things, and now he's walking back in the same direction like it's nothing. Maybe the coyote is more resilient than the bear had always thought. Maybe the bear is finding out how not resilient he himself is. His stomach growls loudly, and when Cameron jokingly asks if he's hungry, Devon lies and says yes. In reality, it's from anxiety, something he isn't used to feeling all that often. The bear only finds comfort in gripping Cameron's paw even tighter and promising himself that he won't let anything else bad happen to them. Cameron presses up tightly against Devon's side, breathing in the comforting scent of his cologne. Cam's show of confidence has mostly diminished at this point, especially as they're passing the motel. The coyote has to remind himself why it is that he insisted on doing this when Dev had offered a perfectly reasonable, if slightly exhausting, alternative. Being exhausted is preferable to PTSD, but Cameron could sense the bear beginning to treat him in a way that he didn't like, talking to him like he was fragile, like the slightest touch could tip him over where he'd shatter on the asphalt. He wants to prove that he can deal with this. Which is why he has to smirk at himself right now, because he definitely wouldn't have made it this far if Dev weren't by his side. Right now, The bear has a steely grip on Cameron's paw, making it clear that he isn't letting go. Meanwhile, their free paws hold their phones, checking every now and then for a signal.
Anything yet?
Oh, wouldn't we get signal at the same time anyway?
Well, I assume I would get it first.
Oh, because mine's not an android?
Yep.
If only I had the brain of an engineer to figure out how to work one. Actually, maybe I should turn mine off and let you search for a signal. We should keep some battery life in one of our phones just in case.
Oh yeah, good idea. Your battery would probably die before we found service anyway.
Cameron turns his phone off while Dev looks on.
I wouldn't worry too much about it though. It's not like we're lost in the woods or something. And I let 3 people know where we're going. We were gonna be fine no matter what, babe.
Famous last words, if I ever heard them. Right up there with, here goes nothing, and I think I took too much.
You're right. Our last words are gonna be, holy shit, we lived to 100.
I'm pretty sure I already screwed my chances at that with all the drugs I did. Along with eating fudge cakes for lunch whenever I'm at work.
Oh, seriously, Cam?
Hey, it's in the vending machine right next to my cubicle.
Well, we're changing that as soon as we get back.
How are you gonna do that, aside from stalking me at work?
I'll make your lunch. They're gonna have us start working from home on Monday, remember? We'll have plenty of time. Hell, I'd be surprised if they don't start making you work from home soon. We'll be like coworkers.
Ta, fat chance. They don't give a shit about our health there.
Well, we'll see. Either way, you'll be living to 110, so you have plenty of time to think up your famous last words.
Cameron has to wonder if their meandering conversation is purposeful on Dev's part, if only to distract him from what's across the road. Either way, the coyote is thankful for it. Only if you make it there with me. About 15 minutes later, Cameron starts to become a bit more agitated. They're on a dirt road at this point. Every now and then, they walk past crumbling structures of what used to be houses and trailers. You think the cell service stopped working since you read about it?
I don't know. They said it's pretty sporadic.
Who said this exactly?
The paranormal forum peeps.
I hope they're trustworthy.
They are. Or at least they have no reason to lie.
I think the paranormal gives people incentive to lie, especially if you're not gifted.
Sure. But we're talking about cell service, not ghosts.
Could also be a scam by those crazy locals to lure their victims into town.
You're joking. I know you're still worried about that, so I'll just point out that it's highly unlikely because that would leave too much of a paper trail.
I'm not that worried, especially now that we've made it this far and nothing.
Oh shit!
What?
Damn it, I just had a bar for a split sec.
The bear waves the phone around over his head, spinning in a slow circle. What the hell, Dev? You scared me.
Sorry, babe. Anyway, I think it came from this direction.
Dev indicates a rather large grouping of trees off the side of the road that forms a bit of a miniature forest. Of course. Would it have to be the creepiest thing in sight?
You want to hang back while I check it out?
No.
Is that a question?
Cameron doesn't respond, instead sliding his paw into the one Dev's offering, and they start to make their way through the sagebrush. Oh god, imagine all the ticks we're picking up.
Don't worry, babe. I'll comb through all your fur when we get out of here. You want me to carry you?
I'm fine.
All right. Just don't think about the tarantulas and scorpions.
You suck so much ass.
Your ass is the only ass I.
Dev grunts in a heavy, bearish way as Cameron wraps his arms around his neck and lifts his feet off the ground, forcing Dev to bridle carry him. Chuckling, Dev carefully makes his way through the rough terrain while the coyote awkwardly keeps his feet lifted high so they don't brush the sage.